And you see the young guys' effort versus the vets. Like we talked about Lions on my show. We talked about uh, Nichols on my show. We talked about just the majority of the youth, the young guys, Crier, first year playing. Those guys have put in tremendous effort, and it's shown up. It's made plays. Daniel Lyons leads the team in sacks. He's had less than half the snaps of the guys that he's been in for. He leads the team in sacks. He leads the team in tackles for loss. Then you've got young guys like Conrad Hussey. I would much rather see Conrad Hussey go in there and do what he's doing. Edwin Joseph, I want to see what he's doing because they all made plays in this past game of versus Boston College, where a lot of your vets, the guys that you're depending on to be the top root of your team, they're just not doing it. Does this light a fire into the rest of their asses? That's a hope. But if these guys are going to give us the effort, I want to lose competitively. I don't want to lose like we're a bunch of bums. So that's now it's up to the coach. Can you end up having a major culture issue if you don't make the necessary changes? That's exactly what it'll end up being. Now no one's got faith in your coaching ability because you won't take bums out and put effort in. Hustle and effort will outweigh talent any day. Experience is important, but not if you're not going to use what you've experienced to your advantage. And right now, our guys that have experience have not shown that they're going to use that to their advantage. They've dwindled away from it. I don't think that they believe in one another. As far as a specific person, the defense's question is why am I going out here to make a 3 and out and stop guys if we can't score more than one touchdown in a football game? One touchdown 90% of the time don't win a football game. So what is the defense going to go bust their humps for when the offense is going to go out there and deplete 3 and out? So I think it's time for what some people call a youth movement. I'd say you have to call it that because they're younger than the guys in front of them. But is it a true youth movement? Not really. It's time to see these guys that want to be there, that have appetite. They're ready to eat. So I'm ready for those guys because the ones we have given the opportunity to, they've outshined the guys that are veterans.
Very well said, man. I agree with everything you said, and yeah, it's like just because you sit DJU to start, say, the Memphis game and give Brock Glenn a chance, that doesn't mean he doesn't come in the rest of the year. Maybe that ends up happening. Um, Comment right there from Five Adams says Mike needs a dual threat quarterback. That's part of getting Brock Glenn in there. To what Chris said, like it's not working. Like the offense, they've kind of laid down, like given up on it. You see, like guys are surprised when they finally got hit in the hands. I do want to shout out Kentron Portier because he made some good plays towards the end of that game. I hope he gets targeted more. He talked about Cam Davis. I want Cam Davis. Maybe you split it 50-50 with Roydell Williams on the carries now because we've seen Roydell Williams is not some extra thing. He's not going to get yards after the catch and break tackles and things of that nature. He's going to get the design play run. He's going to make some good plays, but Cam Davis is a difference maker. He's putting that extra bit of effort when he gets in there. So I'm happy to see him get more touches. And Brock Glenn is much more mobile than DJU. He's much closer to what has worked for Mike Norvell in this offense. We thought DJU could come in and be the closest to what Mike Norvell ever had, but it's just not there. The touch is just not there on the football. People try to tell us we thought he could get a little bit better with Mike Norvell, but the way it's worked out, it's been kind of the worst we've seen of him, unfortunately. Maybe putting him on the bench lights a fire under his butt. And even if it doesn't work out for whatever you got to bring him back in, maybe you get a different spark when that happens. Chris said it, the youth movement, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I want to see these young guys. I want to get a look at Elijah Moore. I want to get a look at Lloyd McCoy. I want these guys to get reps, get opportunities, like national championship, even ACC championship. Like that's kind of off the table. Like it's possibility for the ACC championship, but I wouldn't very slim. Like it's just about what can you do to build a core by the end of this year that's coming back that will prevent this happening in the first game next year? What can you do to build your culture back with the younger guys, the core guys you have that are coming back? What can you do with them to where you can add from the portal, add from the high school recruiting class, and have more of a chance to have a cohesive unit? Because there is some misjudgments going on where there's hubris. We lost 13 players to the NFL, 10 of which were draft picks, another 11 or 12 that got contracts. Unfortunately, you had injuries, or it would have been more. Uh, it is what it is. Like exactly what he said. I'd rather go 5-7 with Brock than 7-5 with DJU and get all the young guys. And we can get into defense and stuff later. But I've already called out the wide receivers, Landon Thomas. After that performance for Morlock, that's more touches for Landon Thomas. I want to see Landon Thomas more. He got a win a little in the second half. Let's see more of that. I wouldn't mind seeing Jalen Lucas get the ball more, but how many years of eligibility does he have? How does it fit with the offense? We'll see.
So basically, anybody who's in their last year of eligibility, if they are not meeting the standard of Florida State at their position, you might as well just throw them on the bench.
No honorifics. No, you deserve it. So that's like on what you put up to this point. It's got to be earned in practice today and tomorrow. If the redshirt seniors get it, okay. No, DJU's a little different in that. Like he's the quarterback. Like to me, I don't know what he could do in practice to get it because we've seen it on the field after practice, and it's the same thing with some of those other guys. Like again, I'm not saying put them on the bench for the rest of the year, but get these younger guys some snaps, slide a fire under their ass, whatever the case may need to be. But you need to start building for the future.
Man, I guess if nobody else has motivation this week, Mike Norvell's going to have some motivation going up against his old school. And when this one got thrown on the schedule, it was
next week.
Oh, next week after the bye week, correct? Yeah. Yes. Okay, you guys fooled me there. I had bye week written right here. Then you said Memphis, and I thought, oh, maybe I misplaced my bye week. Okay, that makes sense because they play the week 0 game. I thought that was right, but they're getting ready for Memphis. So there's a lot of things happen during bye weeks. So maybe he evaluates for the next week, and then by next Wednesday, he knows, okay, I'm making switches here, and there. And these guys really want it. These guys don't. See ya.
Yeah, it's you gotta look at this because NIL made this business. Everybody getting paid and all of those things. If you're unloading Lamborghini trucks off of a flatbed and your ass ain't flattening a running back or a quarterback, if that's your job, then I don't know about repo companies and all of that and retracting checks for NIL, but I would be very slim to scared on what the hell is about to happen with my money coming next month. But with that being said, I think that this is about finding the foundation of the love of the game again. That appetite has to be there. We've seen it in the NFL when guys get paid big contracts, they don't play like they used to no more for some reason. They're not after that money no more. They got what they needed. All right, I'm gonna be all right, whatever. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm saying that you have one of two things going on: a bunch of high end roller guys that don't feel like they have to give much more effort. They're gonna do their thing. They're gonna go with the motions, or you've got a team telling you, I don't trust what is in front of me and what's supposed to lead this team to victories. Now, to test that theory, you got to pull the guy that's leading because you can't just set everybody. So you pull the guy that's leading the horse to nowhere, unfortunately. You got to pull that guy and give the young guy an opportunity who's had the opportunity before. You threw him to the Wolves. I'm going to keep saying it. You threw him to the Wolves, you won a football game. Is it because of everybody else around him? Of course that helped, but he still had to do his job, and he did so. So I think that it's time for us to test the theory, and so you don't end up having a culture issue. But when you've got recruits, and I'm not trying to jump ahead of something being asked, but when you got recruits saying, I believe in this team, I believe what Coach Norvell and the staff is going to do, I'm not going anywhere. I'm a Knoll. Don't worry about me. Quit asking me questions because I know I can come and do this X, Y, and Z for the team. But you got a fan base that filled up the stadium to its ability and capability. You have to let those guys and girls that are coming and watching these games, you have to give them something to cheer for. And I can't look at this one guy and say he's got 1 year and I'm going to be able to pull it off. You have to pull it off. If you don't, which it doesn't look like you are, you're 0-2. It's not like nothing's been done. Some things have taken place. So now it's time to move with the guy that's going to be your quarterback next year. What does it look like? Now, that's Norvell. That's part of being a head coach. Hard decisions have to be made. The difficult decision needs to be made. Move forward. and don't look back, because that's what great teams and great organizations and great programs do.